Thank you, Mr President. My question is to the Attorney-General regarding the dramatically named Allegiance to Australia citizenship laws. Legal experts today have said the laws are so broadly drafted that people may lose their citizenship for actions that do not in any way suggest they are disloyal to Australia. Was it the intention of the Abbott government that the laws would allow a person guilty of a minor property crime with no connection to terrorism to be exiled from Australia? Or is this merely a result of poor drafting by your government?
The Acting Leader of the Government in the Senate, the Attorney-General, Senator Brandis.
Well, Senator Wright, I don't find anything odd about entitling a bill allegiance to Australia, Senator Wright, and I'm surprised that you do. But, Senator Wright, the purpose of the law is to deal with terrorism. The purpose of the law is to deal with terrorism. That is what this government is committed to doing. We are committed to doing everything we need to do to keep Australians safe. Now, I'm aware of the commentary to which you refer, and might I point out, Senator Wright, that the relevant provision of the Criminal Code which is referenced in the bill also applies to the destruction of Commonwealth buildings. The destruction of Commonwealth buildings, of course we're not interested in minor or trivial crime. But you should be aware, Senator Wright, because the Prime Minister has said so many times, that this very building, Commonwealth property, has been the subject of threats from terrorism. One of the most important terrorism raids that resulted in several arrests some years ago was a plot directed to the Holsworthy Army Barracks, other Commonwealth premises. So, of course, the legislation is going to deal with the protection of the targets of terrorism, which include Commonwealth places. Now, Senator Wright, the legislation, which has received the approval, by the way, of the Solicitor-General, whose opinion I have with me, has been already referred by me to the Parliamentary Joint Intelligence Committee. On each occasion when the government has introduced national security legislation, we referred it to the Parliamentary Joint Intelligence Committee for review. And the reason we have done so is because we believe that the Parliament, not just the government, the Parliament has a role in looking at this legislation carefully, and if review of some particular clauses and their breadth is required, no doubt the committee will so
Thank you, Attorney-General. Supplementary question, Senator Wright.
Yes, thank you. The Abbott government's original plan gave the Immigration Minister sole power to revoke citizenship of dual nationals. Instead, the current bill makes loss of citizenship essentially a bureaucratic decision and gives the Immigration Minister the sole power to overturn that decision in a process in which the rules of natural justice don't apply. Is the Attorney-General able to deliver a tortuous explanation of how these two plans differ?
The Attorney-General.
Well, Senator Wright, the government has introduced into the Parliament only one bill to deal with this matter, and that's the bill that was introduced into the House of Representatives yesterday by my colleague, the Minister for Immigration and Border Protection, and has been referred to me by me to the PJCIS. Now, Senator Wright, you're quite wrong, if I may say so, in your suggestion that under the terms of the bill, citizenship is lost by a bureaucratic process. In fact, the whole point of the bill is the notion that citizenship may be renounced by conduct, by the very act of the person themselves, or revoked by conviction by a court of a prescribed serious terrorism-related crime. Neither renunciation by conduct nor revocation by a court of law could appropriately be described as a bureaucratic process.
Thank you, Attorney-General. Senator Wright, a final supplementary question.
Yes, thank you, Mr President. The Attorney-General, much to the chagrin of his colleagues, is famous for his defence of free speech and the right to be a bigot. However, the Allegiance to Australia bill allows a person to be deprived of citizenship merely because of their speech. Can the Attorney justify this extraordinary penalty?
Attorney-General.
Well, Senator Wright, I'm sure the provision you have in mind is the provision that makes it a crime in this country to advocate terrorism. That is the provision you must have in mind. And, Senator Wright, if you think advocating terrorism has anything to do with freedom of speech, I don't share that view.